executive session. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Second?
Second.
JD?
Aye.
Christie? Freddie?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
Aye is for me as well. All right, we have celebrations. We have CTE update.
Yes, Stuart's gonna come up. There's been so many cool things going on with CTE. We just thought it'd be really great for you and for the public to hear some of the cool things that have been happening.
Chairman Thornton and board. Yeah, like Mrs. Beckwood said, this is a great opportunity for us to brag a little bit and let you know some of the great things that are going on. In the last few months that we've had all of our CTSOs, all of the career technical organizations that are connected with our pathways, have their state competitions. And quite frankly, Kuna just tore it up. They did a fantastic job. We started out with our FCCLA. One of the things I'd like to mention, and I'll tell you what, we've also got, that is attached to your guys' packet, but Allison's going to connect it to the website, that there are 3 pages of awards and accolades from our kids. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of the first places. There's a whole lot of medals that were won. But with our Business Professionals of America, we qualified 5 kids to nationals. We had 2 National Ambassador Awards with Paige Fulmer and Kaya Peterson. We did have numerous gold medals there as well. Also, Mason Baxter was the newly elected BPA State Vice President. So again, you're going to see along the way when I'm chatting with you today is we have a lot of kids that are taking on leadership positions at a state level. Skills USA. Unprecedented. We had 5 gold medals, and last year we started earning a few medals. This year we got 5 gold medals and qualified 5 for nationals. 2 are attending nationals in Atlanta this summer, and just again really are putting us on the map with our Skills USA. Our Family Consumer Science. We've got 8 kids that have qualified for nationals, a number of first place finishes. And again, where leadership is concerned, Zoe Sanders is the District 3 President this year. Maya Edwards, District 3 Secretary, and Joshua Hobbs, District 3 Vice President of Public Relations. And then Lydia Nelson is the State Vice President, and Cohen Borzik is State Vice President as well of the Finance and Public Relations. Our health occupations took 38 kids to state. 15 qualified for nationals, and had a number of kids do some really great things, and so many of the kids qualified in the top 10 in their events, so very good. And then last week we had the FFA. They took 47 kids to state, 15 already qualified for nationals. They won 3 group events and had numerous individual events. Unprecedented, again, it's been 50 years since we've had an FFA state president, but Liberty Semper was elected or selected as the new state president for next year, which again is fantastic. We had 15 kids receive state FFA degree recipients. Again, something quite an achievement. And we had a couple of chapter delegates, Lexi Saderdahl and Kylie Smith. And so, again, a lot of kids from Kuna High School have taken a lot of leadership roles at the state level. You can look at this and kind of read through it all and see, again, some of their competition accolades as well. The next slide is we applied for 4 new pathways this year. Apparel and textiles, which is in our FCCLA, KHS military science, and so that's something that we actually pushed forward, and the ROTC is going to be under the CTE umbrella now, and they've actually moved that to a statewide level now, and we are still the only one that has a Air Force JROTC. KHS engineering, well, this electrical is a new pathway at Swan Falls High School, and we've already got about 47 kids already signed up for that pathway moving forward, which is just going to take our construction to another level. This was a continuation of the pathway that we've had, but we haven't really pushed through it. Our next stage is advanced engineering and control systems. That's going to lead our kids to drones and robotics. And we're going to be able to take the drones into our ag programs, our business and marketing programs, and search and rescue. There's so many things that they can do, and so that's going to be a pathway within 2 years. That will capstone, and we will have kids receiving diplomas in that area as well. So,
Stuart, will you go back? Can you go back one slide? The top one, is that the kids that came and presented to us? Or?
oh, okay. So with our FFA group, one of the things that we've mentioned, we actually had a team that they decided we're going to do this, and the event was called Ag Issues, and it was a group of kids that really aren't incredibly involved in. They're in the ag program, but they're not really pushing forward a lot. They decided, let's do this. They came and presented to our cabinet. They presented to the Kuna High leadership. They had to present 5 times before they could actually go to state and compete. They took second. Wow. And so in their first go-around, we saw them. They were still on their notes and things like that, but 1 month later, or less than a month later, they were so polished. They were so good. And they were all juniors. They were a bunch of kids that just are now hungry for it, and they're all going, we're doing this all next year, we're getting ready, and they were asking for scores. What did we do wrong? What can we do better? Another one I think I did also, we won the state horse judging competition. The cool thing about that, the team of 4, 3 of them were freshmen. And so, again, there's a lot of good things happening, and our instructors are doing a great job in all of our CTOs, SOs. They're getting our kids prepared to do a lot of great things. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. A little bit, yeah. All right, next up we have reports with CFO Jonathan Gillen. Budget.
Good evening, guys. Chair and trustees.
Sorry, I'm used to that.
Relatively quick agenda tonight, so because I'm taking time, because next month it's going to be long. So I'll be short tonight. Tomorrow, next month, we're going to spend some
That was great.
Perfect.
So what I'm going to cover, I'll talk a little bit about what Charter Impact's been doing. I'll give you a state funding update, just because now the session's kind of done, so this will give you a little taste of what you're going to see when we do the budget. I'll walk through budget process and we'll have time for questions. So what have we really been working on? Transparency reporting, which is not very exciting. Basically taking all your accounting information, submitting it off to the state. And then some other reporting, annual financial reports. I've been reviewing those as part of some state requirements, helping with Form 10 audits, just basic standard stuff that we do all the time. I put corresponding with staff, emails, really, because I guess what I'm trying to hopefully show is that, yes, we are a contracted service, but we're trying to do everything we can to try to integrate as much as we can with staff, answer questions, be available as much as we can. So answer emails, try to help with things both big and small, all the needs of the district as we work through the process. Met with your municipal financial advisor just to start talking about the L2 form. You'll approve that in September, but really to start talking about tax rates, what that looks like for levy rates, what we'll be trying to figure out all the market values and what the levy rate's going to be, just so we can kind of start that process early. And then it's a real whole lot of budget, right? So budget. So I'm reviewing your current financials, doing an evaluation of the current financial position. I'm translating that into what I think next year's budget's going to look like based on what I know about state funding. I prepared some enrollment projections that we'll go through one more time and review again. And then we're working on alignment of that 2-year budget plan that we talked about, kind of to help adjust our negative change in fund balance and build it. So what is going to happen state funding wise? You're not getting a lot of new money. So it's largely a rollover budget from the state revenue side. So this is not really talking about expenses. This is more about what we see from the state funding us. You'll get career ladder movement. So those teachers who move on the career ladder will receive funding associated with that, but the rungs themselves are not going to increase. So there was no what they call CEC, change in employee compensation, which is essentially which funds the rungs and funds admin and classified staff. So none of those changed. So it's essentially flat funded from this year. Discretionary funding, the true discretionary funding was also not increased. You did receive an increase in your insurance discretionary. We'll use all of that and more. Probably, we don't have the actual rates back yet, but I would assume they're gonna be higher than what we received. So we'll have to talk through what that looks like as far as insurance plans and impacts. And then really, marginal to none other state funding increases. There was a couple of line items that changed from $62 per student to $62.50, from $427 to $430, so you got a couple bucks here and there. But largely what you should see when we talk revenues is it's gonna be a over of our revenues and how are we gonna manage through that. Budget process. So at the next board meeting, I said it would be long. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about enrollment projections and major assumptions, how we came up with those. We're gonna talk about ADA percentages and where that comes from, why we think we're gonna be at the ADA percentage we are. We're gonna talk about budget reductions and the impact on that, of the proposals that we have. And then we're gonna talk about some proposed budgets, and we're gonna go fund by fund. So we're literally gonna talk about, in a state technology fund, where do the revenues come from? Why do we get them? What is the driver of them? And how are we spending them? And so we'll do that, and we'll have a PowerPoint that will essentially walk through fund by fund. So be prepared, drink a lot of caffeine. I would, just get excited. It's gonna be a lot of work. So I plan to have a budget workshop in May. We'll dive into the budget, and that will essentially drive our budget hearing in June, because unless you guys have changes to the budget proposal, I'll essentially work on a lot of state forms between now and the June board and get that published in the state newspaper. And with that, I can answer any questions you have.
Not have any
Coffee, guys can.
We'll save them for next week.
Save 'em, yeah.
I really drink, in case you haven't noticed, I drink a lot of caffeine, so I could offer lots of opportunities. Where'd you get it from?
I don't have any.
Awesome, perfect, thanks guys.
Thank you.
I will have to step out a little bit, but I'll come back in. I got a couple other board meetings I need to bounce to.
Thank you.
All right, next up, patron comment. None? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move into unfinished business. First up, we have consider an RFQ for health insurance consultant with Assistant Superintendent Brian Graves.
We had a request to go out to bid for this. This is a service that this is not the group that determines our health insurance rates. This is the group that helps broker and debate and get us the best rates possible. Some of the concerns that people have shared with us on why we needed to do this, there was concerns that the current insurance broker was not necessarily looking for all the possible solutions, and that costs were going up with insurance. Again, the broker doesn't determine if your insurance goes up. So we put out to bid, or to the RFQ, and we had two responsive bids. The first one was Acrisure. Acrisure is our current, has been since 2019, I think the next slide will say. If you go back, sorry. So we just listed out for you the pros and the cons of what we felt like the bid from Acrisure was.
You said this is current.
Yeah, this is the company that we've had since 2019. And in no way being biased, the next slide just answers that concern that came to us. So it just kind of shows you what they've done every year. In some years, better than others. If you live in the insurance world, it feels like there's never a good year. Somebody always makes money off of it. Next slide is the second company that came with a responsive bid was Morton. Morton, if it looks familiar, they are our liability insurance. They're probably 95 to 99% of all districts does their liability insurance. Again, we listed pros and cons for you guys. Next slide is that comparison. For us, it's kind of like, do you work with districts that are similar to us? So the school districts that Acrisure currently works with, we highlighted any district that was similar size to us in students or staff. You'll notice that Caldwell, Emmett, and Valley View are in the valley. If you ever leave the valley, even go north of McCall, Lewiston, Coeur d'Alene, Lake Pend Oreille is Sandpoint. Lakeland and Moscow are districts that are similar size, both students and staff that Acrisure works with. Morton works with 2 districts, a couple charter schools, and they do help Boise with their online enrollment and their vision. But they don't do this business with big districts similar to what Acrisure does.
So people like Boise, West Data, Nampa, like they're with neither of these.
Correct. Nampa's state insurance fund. They're one of like the only big districts that did jump into that business. I know a spy that knows what West Data uses. I think it was a company out of Arizona. Boise uses a company out of California.
But they didn't respond to that.
Now, we had a couple that weren't responsive. I'll explain that. So the next slide is your comparisons. Morton, when we first got their bid, they were not responsive. They just said they would charge us what we're currently paying to our company that we're with. We said we need numbers so we can come to compare. Acrisure came with a direct 3-year agreement, $7.25 per employee per month, with the cost of online enrollment waived, or you could say that it's included. Morton, $6.90 per employee per month, no guarantee of additional costs of online enrollment. So we couldn't get them to tell us if they charge us for online or not. We know that Acrisure would charge $3, and there was no guarantee for year 2 or year 3. So when we asked for numbers, we got one number. So we didn't want to bring no bids other than Acrisure, but we struggle with Morton just trying to get information from them.
Is Acrisure charging us right now?
$7.25.
Yeah,
So it's staying the same.
yeah.
Ryan, why is it, I'm not in the insurance world, why is it so hard to get responses?
A lot of times when you deal with the salesman piece, and so when they're done, then we wouldn't work with the same 2 people that came and did all the salesman part. Then we go to work with the actual, the employee part that you work with. That was one of the, did you give any other reason?
Do you think
What?
the responsive part is because they're not interested in insuring Kuna School District, or because they just can't get it together?
I think that if you go back 2 slides and just like they're just not working with the districts that we're used to working with, the large district. This might have been out of their scope. I mean, Salmon School District and Garden Valley School District, very small districts. Charter schools in the Treasure Valley, again, very small. So next slide is our recommendation was to recommend Acrisure as our health insurance consultant for the Kuna School District. We couldn't guarantee that price was going to be that lower. We know we need an online presence. So if it's that $3 extra, then, and then year 2, year 3, we just didn't have those numbers. To get anyone to not go up in a rate every year is very difficult. $7.25 equates to a little less than $5,000 a month. So this is about a $45,000 to $48,000 expenditure per year. Just so you, this isn't a very large expense in our view.
I just have a question, like what's the online enrollment? Is that like per employee, like they get on and give their insurance information?
Yes, and then they get, like update, like dependent, they update if they want vision, do they want to change this from a PPO to a HMO, see? I don't know.
HSA.
HSA.
Do you believe if we do continue with Acrisure that they will give us more options?
Yes,
I know that was
yeah,
a
we've
big
made that
concern.
extremely clear that, and I don't think it's not they haven't given us more options, they feel like they're bringing forward the best.
Best ones.
Yeah. We just had a horrible year last year. I think it was, they started in the 20s, we got it down to 16.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
And, I forgot my question.
Sorry, I
No,
threw you
you're,
off your groove.
you're fine.
I spoke.
Yeah, you.
I don't know what to do.
Michael definitely gets to hear the complaints in the negotiations. This is a big one. I mean, obviously, we want the lowest insurance rate possible, but we also want the best insurance rate possible, or the best insurance possible, and it's so hard to balance the best with the lowest price.
I remembered my question. Is it a 3-year contract that we're signing with them? Or is it just like
This would be,
it would be a 3-year?
yeah, because we'd locked in that rate for 3 years.
And are we at the end of a contract with them now, or,
We were not.
okay.
We did it every year, didn't we? Renewed it?
We did this 2 years ago, and then we did it again. We had no responsive bids,
Okay.
and then we did it again this year.
So we're not in any contract?
We,
It's an agreement.
It's an agreement.
Okay.
So we keep our same.
Is it okay, I don't mean to say who's with Morton's company?
yeah,
All right.
he's definitely the salesman. We wouldn't work with him beyond the sale of the, once we started working with the company, it would be 2 different people we'd work with.
Yeah, so I think is he not the owner of the company?
Cody?
Yeah. All right. So Cody Guston is in our district, and all those kids have gone through our district, and is support for Morton and Company. And, I mean, he's a pretty good salesman. That's, I guess.
Yeah, we just could
Want to
not
talk
get
to him
the
about the
numbers from.
$3?
Yeah, we just couldn't get the numbers.
Yeah, dial that.
He called and talked to me and just told me about all the things that he could save us. But, I mean, if he didn't show us here, I don't know what to do.
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you,
He
He
thinks
made a
he's
very
better
con-
than Acrisure?
he made a very convincing argument to me that he was gonna be a lot better than Acrisure.
And can you remember, like, in particular?
It's been a while. It's been a while since he talked to me, so.
And we definitely love CUNA Connections. Acusure's the main person we deal with them. Brenda, if anybody remembers, Brenda Simon was a teacher for us for a very long time. She passed away mid-year, and it's her son. And they're based out of Coeur d'Alene. But
I make a motion that we
you want to go back to that?
move forward with Acrisure as the health insurance consultant for CUNA School District.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hillary?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
JD?
Nay.
Aye for me. Motion passes.
It's going to stay.
Okay. Next up, 4th Street Gym update.
So, it's been a little over a month ago, we sent back to the city 5 points on the revision of their response to our offer. The city last week responded with lines 1, 2, 3, 4 in agreement with what we had countered their offer. I don't know if that's the right to revise their offer. They took our 5-year request and said the city agrees to a 5-year timeline on the condition the city pays $500,000 upon closing, and the remainder of the balance will be paid upon receipt of a solid date. Then in parentheses, it said such as 69 days to vacate the property. Chairman Thornton and I said, does that mean all we, like if we were to write a date on the board January 1st, 2032, would you go back one, please? Paid upon receipt of the solid date. So if we gave them that date, does that mean we get the money right then? Or what's the 60-day, 90-day notice? So I asked Michelle from the city, please clarify number 5. Her clarification was, no, you set the date, that's wonderful. They'll give us the rest of the money in 90 days, as soon as 90 days prior. So it would benefit us to get out faster than 5 days. So that was their.
5 years, you mean?
5 years,
Yeah, 5 years.
Good pace.
It'd be really-
Here we go.
Clear road.
Thank you, 5 years.
I think
So
just leave it.
that
Here we
clarification,
go.
I'd pass it back to you guys to see if are we done yet or do we need some more work?
What does that do for us? I mean, do we need the money if we're gonna rebuild and they give us 500 up front? I don't know what our finances look like of how we're gonna finance the new build. So I would be concerned that no matter what amount of time we take, there's some ramp up time with the building, whatever the new building is, and if our money doesn't come to us till 60 or 90 days, usually construction costs money up front, not 60 to 90 days.
Like, can
away
we
from
use
completion.
money from another fund that we replenish with the sale? Jonathan?
We could use house.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like you could use house bill, you could.
Like, we'll get $500,000, and then we'll get the rest of it 90 days before we leave. It's just not, I mean, it's gonna cost more than the $500,000 to get the room ready
Right.
at the
Well,
middle school.
I think that's the concern, so it's, can we make that work in the meantime, or do we need to say we'll be out in 2 years, like they originally asked, and then they'll pay us? Is that,
I mean, I feel like if we make a plan that we're gonna be out in 2 years, we'll know that I feel like that's a reasonable amount of time that we could get out, but I don't know.
I would think so, but I don't know either.
Well, I guess the real conversation is this something that we like really want to do right now? I don't think we've actually really said yes or no.
But I think that's why they're doing
Yeah.
this, because we really haven't
Said yes.
said yes.
They want us to decide so they know whether they're doing it or not.
So I think we really need to just.
Talk that out, yeah.
Yes.
I don't like this agreement. I don't love it.
I don't love it either.
Specifically the 5-year timeline agreement part,
Oh,
the
the 90
500,000.
90 days thing to get the rest of our
I
money.
guess, but could we rearrange that to where we do say in 2 years we'll be out, like they
Yeah,
originally offered?
yeah.
Could we say that, and then potentially that would change that to they would pay us the full amount upon close?
And that was
It's
the
just
original agreement.
Will that
Yeah.
fix that, I guess?
Yeah, that would work, I guess.
I feel
But if
like,
we do, oh, sorry.
oh
They
no,
said
you.
2-year allowance for office space and 1 year for warehouse. Are you guys saying 2 year for all?
Well, I think we could, yeah, I don't know, we'd have to do some more on that, I guess, what, a timeline that works for you guys to get out, and then potentially move those things to a different spot.
And what is the timeline to start building? Like I think that's the other thing too, like, do we need to take an action on a bid, and what does that look like, and what's the timeline on that? So it all kind of needs to align.
I feel like we've met that enough, I mean, we've talked about this in a board meeting to do the 2 board meetings. The next time we would have to come to you is with bids, and then you guys would approve a bid, and then they would start to work. But I don't have anybody in the construction business but one gentleman right there. This is probably bids, all this stuff, it's probably 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah, we don't even have plans yet, right? I mean, we're still in that phase.
Kind of,
But they're
we have preliminary.
conceptual.
Plans,
The
but-
conceptual draft.
Yeah.
I remember.
I mean, we could be 6 months drafting the plans depending on what we're, maybe less, right? It just depends, but
Does
Yeah,
that mean we have to use money somewhere else to start the project?
Yes.
The part that scares me is, we're losing a gym.
Yeah.
We're struggling, our district is struggling for gym space.
I don't actually think we're losing a gym, we're just losing ownership of the gym, but we still get to use it as much as we were previously.
Is that true?
That's part of the agreement.
Okay.
That's how I
That is
understood,
part of the agreement.
that's how I understood that
Well,
part.
I guess,
Right.
Continue.
But
I
they
guess
said,
the other concern too is though, even though this is presented before us, this still has to go to a vote for the city council.
Next
Right.
step would probably be.
Yes.
Yep,
Does.
they have to agree
Three of us
to
or
actually do
whatever.
it.
Yeah, the city council still has to agree to do this, so it
I volunteer.
still could be caught up,
I'll be with
even
you.
if we agree with
okay.
it.
I mean, I feel like as a, there's emotional attachment to this building, but it is truly in disrepair and it's gonna need a lot of money, more than what I feel like would be worth going to fix it. And I just don't know who else is gonna buy it for the amount of money that the city can come up with. Like, we already put it out to bid, nobody else even qualified, I think the next highest bid was 600,000, which didn't
Meet the requirement.
meet the requirement, and we're gonna be putting that much money into this building plus more, or we can build a new building to house it and still use this building in the same manner that we have other than the office space.
I believe, but in order to say yes, I really need to know where's the money gonna come from. We don't have extra money just laying around to start a project.
I think to piggyback on that, I would say we had to go back to, I would probably be okay if we went back to that 2-year agreement. thing.
Right,
So
And
that
we
would,
get our
not that
money.
1.8 million.
so that we get the money.
Go. I feel like that's the only way it's gonna
where
work.
do we put the stuff? I'm, for the record, I agree with that perspective. My concern is, we're not gonna have a new building built in 2 years, right? So we need somewhere to put the stuff in the meantime. Do we have that planned? Is the plan just to put it at the high school and the?
There's no space unless we
We
build
don't
it.
have space at the high school.
Sorry, or the middle school,
Would be the
yeah.
warehouse storage.
I think we,
But what about the servers? Can we put the servers and stuff in there that we need?
And our office space is really a big part there in the 2 years, that's the new building. As far as the warehouse goes, room 41, I'm not sure how fast it can get remodeled to hold our stuff.
Yeah.
But we could use that for storage.
But not for the
But,
servers.
I mean,
So we'd have to figure
our,
something
Yeah.
our
out.
servers are mostly at the high school.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they
we'd
just
be
need
okay.
office space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think we could have it built in 2 years,
It's possible.
especially if
It would
we,
stink to bank on it and then be in a.
But like if
pickle.
we have storage space, can employees work like a temporary, I don't know. Like I'm not allowed, am I allowed to say that maybe they could work remotely like in a short term, like if there's a couple of months window? Is that,
I guess we'd have to
Well, you're allowed
discuss
to.
what that looks like.
I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble.
our best option for the timeline is that building at the middle school to transform it. I don't think that would take a year.
No, but if we're
For the
building.
warehouse, but then if we're trying to build something in the parking
That
lot,
would take.
that's what's gonna take the longest. And potentially if we could do it in that 2 year, I don't know, portables. you could do
I'm on board.
portables.
I'm on board with the 2-year plan if we have a solid contingency of what do we do with the stuff in the meantime if we're not done with the new build in time.
Yeah, you still have to buy a portable, so
I
it's
mean,
just,
maybe a portable is a temporary option.
Who's gonna, who's got an idea?
I like my one idea.
Tim's got a better one.
I think, okay.
Let's hear it. What is it? Tim,
About the portable?
what's your idea?
Oh, the portables, yeah.
My idea?
Oh, this is.
Tim says you have a better idea.
Surprises.
That's right, no surprises. Stop it.
Tim, I just said you.
So,
Yeah.
a developer, High-Stem's old campus
Yes.
is down there in Hubbard. I was in a meeting with the developer that is proposing stuff there and was talking to him and we were talking about their portables and he's like, want them, you take them.
Oh,
And he's like, we gotta get rid of them. And so I know he said it that way, but to me, there's, you know, there's obviously
Yeah.
the, even if you get the portables free, there's cost in
Well, they need some.
moving them,
repair.
setting them up, you know, making sure that
Yeah.
fire, electrical, all that stuff set up. But I think, you know, if we have those, then we have some flexibility in where those can be placed and used
Cam?
for. And
It would just be temporary
so.
if that was the option.
Know what he says.
I love the idea of the portables, but the fire department has told me that those portables are just about destroyed.
Yeah, I've heard,
That's
Because
I've heard they're
And
pretty rough.
We would obviously, we don't wanna just haul somebody's junk away for the
right.
sake of hauling their
Especially
junk
because
away,
what are
so.
we gonna do with them afterwards? There's gonna be a cost to dispose of them,
This-
for sure.
Yeah.
The fire department told me that they're non-repairable, is what they said, so.
I guess
My
we
goodness.
need to investigate.
Jonathan,
Just get the building built.
remember that, yes, we can use that house bill money to do this build, but if we don't sell this, we'll have to use that house bill money to do the repairs. So either way, the money will have to come from there.
So we do have money to start the project if we go with the 5-year plan. I feel like, and then replenish the house bill money with the sale of this. Is that possible?
That's what you would have said.
That's-
That's what he would have
That's what he would have said. Because that's to me, like, that gives us more time to get the building done. And so if we have money to get the building going and we have the 5 years to do it, it feels like a better timeline to me.
Yeah.
I would feel more comfortable with that.
So edit number 5 again.
No, I think this accept as is.
The
Is that-
5-year one?
Having that
I'll
money there,
back out. I'll let you guys.
does that work for you or?
That does help. The
It
whole
helps.
thing makes me nervous.
I mean, and then if we get out earlier, then we get the money quicker.
Just
Yeah.
to clarify that they would give you the rest of the money 90 days prior to this,
To us
To
getting
moving
out.
out.
Moving out.
the moving out date. So
So if
90
we had to
days
move out
prior.
in 2 years.
So if we like decide,
Yeah,
Which
oh,
would mean
we're
the
ahead of
building's
schedule,
done.
we're gonna be moved out by now, they'll give us that money 90
Yes.
days.
Yeah, but if we're not, then they don't.
I guess if the city's promising that we can have the gym, I guess I'm on board with that.
It's been part of every discussion that I've had with them.
Priority, we just need to.
We have priority, I mean, obviously, we don't have a written contract signed at this point, but that would definitely need to be part of it. And it said, like, in our discussions, we said, you know, anything that's been on the calendar for us previously, we would want priority for that. And, you know, and they want to keep it a gym, like the governor, the mayor says he would like to keep it as a gym. I'll say the governor does too. I'm just gonna go ahead. Donald J. says.
One of our homework assignments was to give them 3 years of what we used it for, and it was about 90% community, 10% district use.
Yeah, and I've been preaching that for a while, that we
have been the community center.
The school district, we act as the community center for the city.
Yeah. And they want to use the offices for their Parks and Rec department for the city, and they just really want to keep it city property because it's right there in that area where they already have the new building going, and anyway. I make a motion that we accept this offer as written
You want to click?
for 5 years. I need to read that.
I think you're
Because
good.
there's dollar amounts in it, yes.
Oh, we need to read all that?
The whole thing?
Go for it. Somebody else can do it.
You did it, you guys.
I make a motion that we agree to the revised purchase agreement with the city of Kuna. Both parties agree on the portions of the building that will be used by Kuna School District and those used by the city. Both parties agreed on the monthly rental fee of $1,500 per month. Each party will pay for their own lawyer fees and forego the use of a real estate agent. Kuna School District will receive the appraised value of the property, $1.67 million as payment. The difference between the appraised value and $1.8 million will be applied to closing costs. Any additional closing costs will be paid by Kuna City. The city agrees with the 5-year timeline on the condition that the city pays $500,000 upon close, and the remainder of the balance will be paid upon receipt of a solid date such as 60 to 90-day notice to vacate the property.
Second.
I second.
Any further discussion? Hillary?
Can I add something really quick to my motion? I don't know. I just want to make sure that, like, we do have the, you know, the gym in our use.
Yes.
That we have priority use, and that would be part of the contract.
We need to make sure that's in that motion.
So 6,
That's a good point.
that as part of the deal,
Just have number 6 at the bottom.
Kuna School District will have priority use for the gym space.
That's a good catch.
Sorry.
Second.
Second.
Okay, perfect. Good. Hillary?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Kirsty?
I'm kind of conflicted just because of the money part. I'm not against selling it. I actually am for most of this. I'm just not sure about the money. I'm just going to say no. And that's the only reason why.
You mean the
What
money?
do you mean by the money?
Like having to tap into other money and then it's like we have 5 years. I don't know. That part's just kind of unclear to me.
Do you have another suggestion?
No. And you guys like the 5 year. It's fine. My answer is no, and it's
You would
okay.
have preferred the 2-year.
Probably, yes, to make sure that we actually had the funds, but that's okay. You guys, it's totally fine. So I just wanted to clarify. I'm not against it by any means.
Okay, JD?
Aye.
Aye for me. Motion passes. All right.
Phew.
Kind of.
What's the next step, did you say? We go to the,
I'll add number 6. I'll email Michelle and the mayor,
okay.
and then I assume.
And then
When they
do
put
we-
it on the
Are we
agenda.
saying that we're good?
And then the
Want
next
to move
step,
forward?
They said go into city council.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I guess city council could say no.
Good. They're very much
But the
good.
governor,
The mayor.
the mayor, I don't know what's wrong with me. The mayor feels very confident that he has the vote. I'm really sorry.
All right. Next up, we have consider curriculum adoption, Director Kevin Gifford.
Governor Thornton, no, just Chairman Thornton.
Let's not get carried
And
away.
trustees, I've got some guests here to present with me tonight, so you don't have to listen to me.
alone.
Oh, shucks.
We love your jokes.
Well, I've got Christina Meyer here. She's one of our parents. Her children go to Indian Creek. Kara Skaggs is one of our teachers at Crimson Point, and Laura Jenkins is one of our instructional coaches. And so these two ladies were on our adoption committee, and Laura and I helped facilitate the work. So they're going to help share tonight. We want to go over our process with you, share the results of everything we've reviewed, and we'll share our recommendation to you so that you can consider that. So just wanted to give you this is a photo of all of our parents that were on it. There were 2 that were online that night, so they're not in the photo, but they were participating with us. But you'll notice that our committee, our adoption committee, had a teacher and a parent paired up, and I just wanted to point that out again. I thought that was one of the most the coolest parts of our process was that we had that collaboration between a parent and a teacher in the same classroom. So Laura's going to take us through and remind you of the process, because this has been like a little over a year-long process.
So we selected 2 teachers for each grade level, and then made sure that every elementary school was represented within that. And each teacher that joined us did some research with us and really studied the science of reading and made sure that we understood the criteria of what we're looking for when we're looking for a new curriculum. So that we're all on the same page, and with that knowledge, then we created a rubric so that we could analyze the curriculum that we were taking into consideration. After that, then we took the curriculums that were recommended by the state and state approved so that we could use that. And then we poured through samples over the summer, and then the teachers narrowed down. I think we went from like 5 or 6 samples and narrowed that down to 3 samples that we wanted to potentially pilot. So within that pilot, we trained our teachers, we pulled in the parents, and we all participated in trainings before each curriculum was piloted. So we had met with each publisher. They would train our teachers so they'd know what was important in each curriculum to make sure they're implementing and they're trying it out with a true experience, making sure that they could really analyze it to the fullest extent. And then after each pilot, so HMH was our first one, we would get training, teachers piloted, and then we sat down with the parents and the teachers and we evaluated it. We debriefed it together. How did it go? What did you experience? Because we really want to make sure that if I was piloting, I truly got to analyze and see all the pieces. And so they got to collaborate a little bit, make sure that they weren't missing anything, and then they filled out the rubric. We did that with each one so that we could really be true to each pilot and made sure that we really analyzed them to the fullest extent. So with that, we were able to get teacher analysis and the parent analysis as well within those timeframes. And then we came all together. We also put out on our district website, we put out the different curriculums so that the community could also take a look at what we're evaluating and making sure that we had the public input as well. And after that, we came to our final recommendation. So with our rubric results, I think you guys were provided what those results look like. So we took that from parents, also teachers that we talked about. Kevin and the coaches sat down and also looked at, as a district experience, what was the experience like with the sales reps and things like that, making sure that we're going to be taken care of, what was the technology like, also cost, things like that. And then we also took the community input that was provided out on the website. The piloted materials, we're hoping to pilot 3. Unfortunately, Curriculum Associates didn't have the materials. They were in the middle of trying to get one ready, and they weren't able to get that ready in time for us to pilot to the full extent, so we had to cancel that one. But we were able to pilot Into Reading and Ariba for the Spanish side of it, and then Wonders and Maravillas was the Spanish side of the Wonders.
All right, so there was a lot to that, and the fun part for me was I got to organize a lot of stuff and talk to a lot of people, and then these guys did all the work. So what I have on here, and you should have gotten a folder in your packet that had all the document of all of our processes, and it has all of the evaluation stuff, so you have more detail. But I've got screenshots in here of what the results to share out with you. But I've asked these ladies to share the results, and they can also share their experience. So Christina's going to talk first about the parent rubric and her experience being a part of our adoption committee.
Yes. Hello, I'm Christina Meyer. My daughter Lily goes to Indian Creek Elementary. She begged me to be here tonight, but I told her we couldn't play Roblox during a school board meeting, so. But that's actually one thing I considered when I was thinking about the different types of curriculum that were piloted. I got to observe both sets of curriculum as they were demonstrated to me. Luckily, my daughter's teacher is amazing, and she put like packets together of all of the different materials that she would be using. I come from a family of educators, so I relied on them a little bit to be like, what should I look for? But the one thing that really stood out to me is with HMH, which is the program that we really liked, was these kids were so involved with this curriculum. It was the first one that they piloted, so I guess I was a little shocked when we got to the second one and the kids were like, la-di-da-di-da. But HMH was amazing. It had great stories for the kids. They were all really involved. They were thinking ahead. They wanted to learn more about the story and they wanted to finish the story. The stories are spread out in a way where it's not all at once. They got to cover different things and they would move into the next part of the story after having a discussion. But it really stood out to me how these kids were just so excited about it. And the stories that were in HMH's curriculum were stories that I had seen and that my daughter has read. So all of the kids were really excited about them. And then I did my due diligence. I always do my research on education because I do have a master's degree. And, not that, anyway, got some databases, under my belt. So I did some digging on biases between both HMH and McGraw-Hill, because I know some of our fellow peers brought up the concern with that. And I actually found that HMH seemed to be the best between the two of them. McGraw-Hill had a few recent concerns in that area, and HMH seems to be pretty consistently reliable in that area. So I thought it was just a really good fit overall for the kids. Hopefully I'm not talking too much, but it was exciting. I was really happy to be a part of it. So yeah, would you like me to read anything off the actual slide?
No, right? I will point out though, we were intentional on their rubric. We wanted them to be able to obviously see all the material and review it. But we really wanted that experience of them in the classroom observing, which normally when you have a parent committee, a parent part of the committee, they don't necessarily get in the classroom. So I thought that was a great way of getting, so like you said, Mrs. Jaspers prepared some materials for her. So I thought that was a great way to collaborate between them so that the parent hopefully would be more comfortable to ask questions because they already knew that teacher had a relationship with them. So I really think that did help a lot and gave us that opportunity. So that was that part B in the middle. And then we really did want their perspective of the home learning because obviously we don't see that as much on the teacher side of things as they will, parents will at home. So anyway, I appreciate that.
Yes, of course. Well, and with the home learning, I know we had talked a lot about that, and HMH had some really great resources on paper. I know that was another thing that some of the parents were concerned about was like too much digital learning and having to rely too heavily on tech. And HMH had some good engaging books that the kids could bring home, and my daughter actually did after the pilot was done and has continued to use it. So if that says anything, she really was excited about it.
And one nice thing that HMH and others are doing the same thing. Instead of having an anthology, a textbook, hardback, the student workbook is the anthology. So, which is really nice for our AVID strategies and our instructional strategies because now kids can actually write in their books and mark things up. So that's one thing that's nice with the HMH. It eliminates some of the technology and kids are actually in the book writing on it and using it. And so it reinforces our strategies as well. So the next slide, Kara Skaggs will take over and she'll kind of talk on the teacher. Their rubric was huge, by the way. This is just a summary of the main categories in your folder.
I don't
if you
think
want to see the. You don't have the folder?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Where is it?
It wasn't on, you have to go through that board agenda, or board folder.
Oh, I see. Not linked on the agenda. Got it.
Oh, yeah, it was in, yes, sorry. Anyway.
So I was lucky enough, my whole team decided to jump on and pilot with me. And what I really liked was I took all digital just to delve into that. I have another teammate who doesn't like digital as much, so she just used the book more. And then our third kind of did both. And so it was nice to see that teachers could do what they were comfortable with, and they had different platforms to be able to use it. The kids really liked it because it's the books they check out in the library. Judy Moody, Stink, I mean, they had a lot of fun with those books, that particular one unit we were doing. And it was easy to show the kids how to find text evidence and all the stuff that we work on so hard in 3rd grade because they're able to write in those books and take them home. One of the things that we also liked was the amount of support we got from the company. They called us weekly. We had weekly meetings. You could join if you wanted to, if you had questions. Their PD seemed to just be above and beyond what I've ever had before in a training. And so they took our concerns or our questions, and within the next day, we had answers. And they were just very welcoming and wanted to know what they could do to help us. But I also liked that it's all in one. There's handwriting, there's actual writing, there's different types of comprehension tests, there's foundational skills tests. So I'm not going into, I have handwriting without tears here, then I'm gonna go to this, then I have to go to Lucy for the regular writing. It just was all in one place, and it all kind of melted together, and it was more of like a themed unit for the writing that lasts a whole month instead of either a semester or a trimester or little power writes, which are still good, but we really got to delve into some of the bigger writing pieces in a good amount of time, a reasonable chunk of time. And the kids loved it because there's race cars when they get to do their tests are online. I can send the parents home their report for the week. It sends it right to them. I can also go in by standard and say, how did my kids do with this standard over this trimester, which helps amazingly for standards-based grading for the trimester. So that their online component was just so much higher with what we could get done as teachers for background than what McGraw-Hill and Wonders had.
And then on the rubric, I just want to point out here, the foundational skills part, that was much lower on the McGraw-Hill than the HMH. And the McGraw-Hill, I'm stealing thunder from one of my slides, but the McGraw-Hill was the last year. Next year, they'll have a brand new product, but obviously we couldn't do anything with it this year. So this is kind of the end of life for them. And one of our concerns was that we would end up in the same situation we're in now, where National Geographic's Reach for Reading that we have, is gone. There's no more. We can't use it after this year. And I think that also explains why their foundational skills wasn't as strong in our ratings, because it wasn't based on the science of reading like curriculum today is based on. So the next slide, this is the district experience. At the beginning of the process, I created, well, not me, the coaches helped me. We created a list of 10 questions we wanted to get answers from our vendors, because we wanted to have an idea like the longevity of their product, that kind of thing. We wanted to know what their ongoing professional development after we buy and implement initially. So we had a lot of questions we wanted to ask them, and then our own experience with them. So they gave me the answers to those questions, and then at the end of our pilot, we did the same thing. We kind of sat down and debriefed our experience and how they supported us through the pilot experience. And I'll point out the longevity, that first rating. Again, that goes to that what I was explaining, that McGraw-Hill, it's they're at the end of life for theirs. And then the last two, the collaboration with the district and the overall experience. It was just night and day difference. HMH was so responsive, and they were anticipating our needs. They had the weekly check-ins. They asked if we could send information to the parents so they understood better information. The other one, I asked, hey, do you want to send anything to our parents? He's like, well, what would you want me to send to them? I'm like, really? This is your product. Come on, you sell it to us. But so you can see that it was, overall, the experience with HMH was much better on the district side as well. And then this is the community input. I do want to point out this first comment here. This is what we got on HMH, which is the one we're going to recommend to you. But that comment was almost identical on the other one as well. And so as you read it, it's just a general statement. I don't think there was anything specific. They didn't mention anything specific in either curriculum. And because they posted the same comment at both, I think it was just a general statement of concern. Overall, I think there were some teachers that filled this out because they were talking more like the technical expertise of how to implement things. So it was quite interesting. But overall, the next one is the community input from McGraw-Hill. There was one other one here, so that's the same, almost identical comment. But then there was this one here too that talked about DEI curriculum. Again, they didn't reference any specific thing in it. I personally haven't seen any real DEI in it. But
Not the that I had.
no, and there was another curriculum that we eliminated in the sample because we felt like that wasn't something our community would want. But we didn't see that in either of these. But those two comments were both about McGraw-Hill, which is not the one we're recommending. Anyway, so I put all those together, the average of the parent rating, teacher rating, district experience, And you can see the data was consistent throughout the whole the experience, that HMH was the best fit for our district, according to our parents, our teachers, and the experience that we had as a district implementing as well. And it was a cool process because from the very beginning, we explained this wasn't going to be a vote at the end. We're not going to be like politicking that. We really wanted them to take each pilot and evaluate it on its own, and then we would look at the results afterwards. So I felt like it was a good process.
It was.
And then at the last slide here, we don't have, as part of my part with them, I asked them to give me a 3-year cost estimate. And so these aren't exactly apples to apples, but they're pretty close. So what you see in one was also in the other. I've been working since then, of course, waiting for tonight for final adoption if you choose to do that, because we can't obviously negotiate anything official until then. But I've been working with HMH to get our purchase plan completely together so that then Jonathan and I can start to negotiate with with more power and authority maybe. But what I'm seeing from them right now is going to be pretty close to that. And they've given us a 3, a 5, and a 7-year option is what we've asked for. But that pricing will come to you in our budget. It's part of the budget approval. Curriculum is always a part of that budget approval, so you'll get a chance to see that and approve that. But tonight, we're just asking you, we're recommending that we adopt this as our curriculum, and then in May and then in June, you'll see the actual cost of it. But I wanted to give you an idea of it. And those are the materials on the left are what we've determined are what we need as a district. It was actually really cool too, because then I could ask the teachers for their input of everything they tried out, what things were must-haves, nice to have, and don't really need, because they didn't want to buy things they weren't going to use or leave out things they really felt needed to be there. So our last slide, no, second to last. So next steps. Obviously tonight we're recommending and asking for your approval. We'll then negotiate a purchase. We've already been working on planning how to implement this. I've already started meeting with coaches, principals. Organizing distributing materials will be a lot of fun, but we'll get it done. And then implementing the plan. We've already got a tentative schedule for May 8th, because that way our teachers can get the initial overview of here it is, so they won't be as anxious coming back in August. They'll have an idea of the training in August and what to expect. And really important to me, I want to monitor this whole implementation throughout and then adjust as we need to, but I want to make sure that we get a good implementation, and we do that through our student learning data. You know, if this product, we believe it will work well and our students will learn well, but we need to monitor that. So we'll treat it as a baseline year, but we'll have set expectations of teachers and principals of what needs to be used and how to use it, so that we can get true learning data and determine how well it works and what adjustments we need to make. So I'm excited for all that. That's the real hard work, actually, quite honestly. So we'll stand for questions, and then our recommendation is up there for you. And these guys have great answers.
What curriculum is this replacing?
Reach for Reading by National Geographic.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we adopted it in 2016, 17.
Sure.
And we probably, because in Kuna we always, use things as long as we can, we probably would have stayed with it longer, but their digital licensing goes away at the end of this year. They're no longer supporting it. In fact, we don't even have a customer success manager anymore. If you go to look for Idaho's representative, it just gives you a 1-800 contact. Yeah, quite impressive.
And the McGraw-Hill is at the end of its life. Where's HMH in this current life?
We asked them that. This was 2022 that this came out.
3 years or so.
Yeah.
It's only been available for about 3 years, so it's new.
Yeah.
And what would be an expectation for how long, like 10 years or?
They will never tell you that. They usually do several iterations of it. So like Into Reading is their current product, and they'll do several iterations of it before they bring out a new product. I don't know how many iterations of Wonders they'd had before theirs is ending. So they don't want to tell you that information because they don't want to hurt their chances of selling to you. But because they are fairly new in it, I think we'll have a much longer time period. And HMH has been out there forever. National Geographic, when we adopted their reading, it was new for them to do reading. They had never really done a reading program. And I don't know why they're not anymore. I mean, I have my ideas, but I probably shouldn't share them publicly. They had a lot of great things, don't get me wrong. We loved the nonfiction part of National Geographic has been fantastic. The cross-curricular connections to science and social studies has been wonderful. But the science of reading really isn't that strong in it, so I probably said that better than my first comment.
I make a motion to adopt into reading and Ariba from HMH as Kuna School District K-5 Core ELA curriculum.
I second.
Any further discussion?
I just want to say that I had the opportunity to sit in and actually watch the teachers do the, what is it called?
Yep, the pilot.
Pilot, yes, sorry, brain fart. So I was able to ask the teachers what they liked, what the parents liked, and everyone agreed that HMH was the best. And I actually went through all of the books, different grade levels, and the stories are amazing. It's really great curriculum, and so I don't think we're going wrong with this one.
We appreciated you going out. That was awesome.
I loved it. It was
fun to be
great.
with
Thank you. I hope I have that opportunity again.
As part of the process, did you talk to any other school districts that have used it for a while?
Yes, in fact, I've talked to Joy Mickelson from Blackfoot. She's actually retired. She's not, but she was their curriculum and federal programs for a long time, and she still consults with them. So I've talked with her. We actually went over to Nampa, Ruby, Montoya. That sounds right. And observed it there. We saw it in classrooms there. And then I talked to Caldwell, I can't remember her name, my counterpart in Caldwell as well. So we had talked to several other districts about it and tried to talk to some, well, Nampa's not similar in size to us. Caldwell's fairly similar to us in size, and so is Blackfoot. So I wanted to talk to districts similar to us in size. They were very high on it. In fact, Joy from Blackfoot has been a great partner because she said, yeah, you really don't need this. This is what, so because she's lived it for so long, she's able to tell me how they've utilized different parts of it. So that's been actually very helpful. I do have, Ruby's going to meet with, she wanted to wait till after ISAT, or I would have already met with her, but we'll sit down with her again and see how they've used it, both for their dual language and for their intervention in general, because they have a high intervention population as well. So that'll be helpful for us to see how they've implemented it as well.
Anything else? Hillary?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Aye for me. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all coming.
We'll keep you updated on the implementation now too.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Consider MOUs. Mr. Tim Jensen, Growth and Development.
Chairman Thornton and trustees, I bringing back an MOU that I presented to you 2 or 3 months ago, and as that list of them, and this one we finally got finalized with the developer last week, and wanted to make sure we got it in front of you. This is for the Newberry Place project that is on 10 Mile, just north of Columbia a little bit. This has actually been, our district's been working with this project, or in this mitigation, since August of '22, and so it's just been kind of, it's hung out there a little bit. There's been change in ownership of the development and all that stuff, and finally got a developer that stuck with it, got it approved through the city. One of the blessings on this MOU is compared to the last one I brought you is the developer had no recommendations for changes or anything, so the MOU that I presented to you previously is exactly the one that you have tonight, and so that was kind of nice. You know, there wasn't a lot of the back and forth on it, and so they've been a good partner with us, and the kind of the good thing about this one is this is one of the cash donations. So this one, it's a combination, I shouldn't say. It's a cash donation. It's a $49,000 donation that'll come to the district. And they're also doing $148,000 of improvement within the development for student access to busing, and it's a safety thing. As the project stood before, it was just going to be kind of a roundabout way. And I know Robbie was on part of that talk with them before, but they agreed to go ahead and put a safety pathway for our kids to be able to get out to 10 Mile for busing purposes. And so pretty substantial, when you look at the whole package, pretty substantial donation to us and helping to keep our kids safe. The $49,000, we have created a separate account for that, and that's for our mitigation donations. And so that $49,000 will go into that account and is there for us to be able to use for any of the projects or items that will help us to offset the growth and the overcrowding. It can go anywhere from classroom furniture to fencing, or what the developer didn't really want to earmark it for anything other than, for the district to be able to use it as we see fit. Which is, I'm working with another developer and they are in Crimson Point boundaries. And so he said, can I do something with my donation to help out Crimson Point Elementary? And so sometimes they'll have those specifics or not. This one doesn't have any of that attached. This is one that we can put into that count and use as we see fit. And so a really positive thing, kind of an update. Just within the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've met with probably 6 or 7 other developers for different projects that have all agreed to work with us in some capacity or another. We haven't finalized details. We've just had that verbal agreement that, hey, we want to help the district out however we can. So there will be follow-up meetings for that. So hopefully we've got more of these MOUs that start coming in from these projects. Right now, from the ones that I gave to you previously, we're in the process of finalizing details on 2 more MOUs, and so I was hoping that I could bring all of them to you, but we just haven't finalized for tonight. So hopefully by next month we'll have those ready for you. So I'm here tonight just to get approval to accept the MOU on our side, so that Chairman Thornton can sign it and we can have it official. So then I'll stand for any questions.
Well, I know it's a surprise, but I have a question. In number 1, it's $49,000, but it really says they pay per house as it's with the certificate of occupancy. And like if they end up with 90 houses, then how much do they pay?
So the total cost is $49,000 because part of there's the cash donation, but there's also, like I said, the construction donation that they agree to do for our recommendation for the pathway. So total is $49,000. And so they are, when we said, and I explained this in our previous conversation, we set it up to where the deadline that they have is that the total has to be paid, whether they do it in one lump sum or if they do it per door. The total has to be paid by the time the last certificate of occupancy is issued for the last house. And so we understand that probably their cash flow is coming as they sell lots and do that stuff. And so we understand that. So we try to be good partners with them and say, hey, we'll give you this. Some of them are, when I've talked to them or said, well, we'll just write you a check ahead of time. Some will be like, or have been like, yeah, we need to, we're depending on this sale of these lots to get this cash to pay the district. So we haven't told them you have to pay us per door. We've just given them that deadline that by the time the last certificate's issued, we have to be paid in full.
Are you saying the $49,000 is a cash donation, or that is including in the construction of the walkway?
No, the $49,000 is the cash donation that is separate from the walkway. So total, it's like $197,000 between the construction and the cash donation, has a $197,000 value to it. So
how big is this walkway?
Well, it's decent size. I mean, it's going through, but it also has a cut through a lot, and so the value that they had to cut out of they had to size down lots and stuff, in order to make it happen. So there's a different value to the actual piece of ground that the walkway's on and all that. It's pretty complex, and so.
The way I read it is if they have less than 95 houses, they're going to contribute less money. Is that not the way that should be read
The last sentence of
in number 1?
number 1. It makes it sound like it's basically tied to her house without saying it outright.
So when I presented this before, Trustee Lowe, I think we had it listed differently than that. We just had the total amount, and you wanted me to put a per door amount on it. And so as far as like receiving anything less than 49,000, we won't receive less than 49,000. Hopefully I'm understanding your question correctly.
Can you maybe, if you read the last sentence and tell me what it means?
The parties agree the final contribution amount will be calculated based on the number of single-family residential units in the subdivision, authorized and approved by the city of Kuna, the entitlements that ultimately receive certificates of occupancy. That's just clarifying that it's a per door fee. The 49,000 is just one chunk of the per door fee. If you take the entire 197,000 and break that up by the doors, that's where you get our amount that we ask per door. But we don't, I can guarantee you we don't get less than 49,000 cash on this, so.
It just seems like that walk, I'm sorry, but I'm struggling to find the cash value in that walkway. Is it like 2 miles?
No.
Is there a map we could see of it or not yet?
I didn't include a plat map. I didn't anticipate the walkway being, so like I said, part of it is when they did that, when they created that walkway, they had to take a piece of a lot that, in order to create that and do that. And so there's value to that piece of ground, of that space that walkway is going on and occupying. There's a piece of that value that even is associated with the ground that the walkway's on. So if a lot sells for $150,000 and we're taking 12 feet of that lot, there's that 12 feet of that lot has value to, or that ground that walkway's going on has value to it as well. And so that's part of I understand what you're saying. There's not $140,000 worth of concrete, in that walkway. But associated with that value is also the ground that was given up for the lot that they had to put it on.
And the only reason why we came up with this number is because they pressed us and made us come up with the number.
Mm-hmm.
And that number is it $3,500 per unit?
3286.
32, okay. So.
Yeah. And Robbie might be able to help more. Like I said, the age of this project, this was something that was agreed upon well before I got into this, but because it was an amount that was agreed upon with the previous developer and owner that was there, it was something that, moving forward, because the way we set it up is, if you sell the property or the development to another developer, they assume that agreement. And so this is an agreement we had made with them, like I said, back in 2022. Even though it's changed hands, we didn't, in good faith, have, say, well, we want more than 49,000 because it was an amount we had agreed to, like I said, 4 years ago, and so.
Wait, what year was it when we came up with that money value per unit, the 3,200?
22 was the same.
22.
It was the same year when the study was done. The Tischelbisch study was done in 22 as well.
Okay.
So
so just so clarification, I mean, this cash value, it turns out to be about $2,000 per unit.
Which is close.
Well, we do it by student, so 0.5 per house.
I don't think, is that how we're calculating it now?
We're calculating that number per home.
Yeah.
Right, but then
And
it's by the student.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just bringing that information for everyone to know.
No, it's good. And this was a tough one for me, like I said, because this is one that I assumed, and nobody had done anything wrong. And, this agreement was made we had started, when we first kind of started this process, we didn't have that 3286. Like when I talk to developers now, that's the amount I take to them on the new developments. It's 3286 per door, and according to that study, that's what that is, even at that 0.5 students per door. And so when we're talking about that, the process is just a little different now than it was when this agreement was made. But like I said, we were locked into this because we had made this prior agreement before we had, our 3286 amount in concrete form. So
I just look at future MOUs with other developers, but I mean, it's more money than we had before, so.
Is there a action item that needs to be read, or can someone just make an action item?
you can just make a motion to approve the MOUs as
I mean,
presented.
a motion, yeah. Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept this MOU as it's written. Is that good? I'll
Works for
second.
me. Perfect. Any further discussion? JD?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Hillary? Aye for me as well.
Hey, could I just say something? So, Tim's son, his youngest son, just started his first day on the job. He was in Nampa, but as a police officer. So he's a proud dad. Some of us show pictures of our grandkids. He showed pictures of.
I was walking around, hey, here's my.
Is that a get out of jail
Awesome.
free
You know,
card?
he's actually working in the Canyon County Jail, and he has to leave. He has to report at 6 a.m. Him and I were getting up and leaving about the same time yesterday morning, about 5, and I was like, okay, I have to do this, man. I got to get a picture so I can show it off. And so it was funny. He had his backpack on and he took it off and struck the tough guy pose. And so I'm happy to show it to anybody who wants to see it. So,
Put it on the screen.
but yeah, we're pretty proud of him. So,
Congratulations. Congrats.
so thank you guys for your support on
Yeah.
all this too.
Thank you.
All right, we will move to KHS Gym Foyer Vestibule Project.
Is this the whole foyer?
Foyer,
The first slide's preparing anyone that wants to read a motion.
You're gonna have to read that whole thing.
Yeah.
No? Yes?
I'm not making any motion.
You can take a break.
This isn't gonna get accepted, Brian.
I know.
Move it on.
Next slide, please. So, Kuna High School, HVAC Phase 2 was our year 2, so was Ross. Both Bennington and LKV said move the vestibule from year 4 to year 5. The high school is already shut for the whole summer. Get both projects done at once while you don't have any activities and events. If you walk into the gym, there's 2 entries, front or from the student parking. There's no breezeway, there's no vestibules. Those were cut in that 2002 bid anyways. So this was one of our #1 projects for saving power, heat, as well as safety. Now, I don't do construction management, so it's broken down. You'll see each responsive bid in each category. If you click, next slide, and then the next slide shows you that Bennington was very busy. We had a ton of people come in, do bids. This must be a really good time to do construction. So, because we got a lot of bids. They had anticipated this project for construction alone was around $700,000. If you do fast math, it's a little over $550,000. So, in our world, that means we got another $150 to keep doing the next project and the next project. We will bring one more to you. Because it rains here or snows here, Reed roof went from year 3 to year 2, so the Reed roof will also be done this summer. The good thing is right now year 3 is really light because we're doing a lot of construction in year 2 of our 10-year plan.
Do you have a picture of what it's supposed to look like?
I do. I can send that to you guys. Yeah.
So is it a breezeway on both sides?
Yeah, and it'll match. It's mostly glass and masonry, so it'll match the brick. It'll look a little different, but it won't look that much difference. It's newer color. But
And like what kind of security type at the end? Just the same as all the rest of the doors? Is it just
So
like
they don't,
regular?
yeah, it'll have the handicap, and it'll have handicap access both ways as well. So if you've ever been to a concert and they're parked on both sides, now if grandma comes this way, she can get in a handicap door, it'll have all the swipe. Do you want, yes.
Access control as well, so we're working on getting that.
Yeah. And I apologize for the,
Well, I feel like I could make a motion to accept the lowest responsive bids as listed, 1 through 12 on the slide as shown.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? JD?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
Aye for me.
Good call on the motion.
I like it, I like it.
this is that time that usually everyone leaves.
That's our cue.
First read. Quarter one policies that were sent to us by Ms. Holinka, our attorney. We have 2 amendments, amendment to employing retired personnel and amendment to rental use of school district facilities. I stand for any questions.
In 0912, previously, I had spoken to, I believe it was you a couple years ago, about the use of the district facilities for-profit, like after-school groups, and they didn't, I think some have been allowed to use like the fields and things without paying, and I think it should, and when we talked about when this came up, that we would add some of that verbiage too.
I'm gonna click into 910. 0910. You're gonna have to go for a little bit, because we didn't change anything there. Keep going. I like the clicker idea. Keep going. It'll be a big chart, and there'll be 3 different dissemination right there. So we have the categories.
Yeah. And I feel like we've had this prior to, but there's been some like principles and things that have gone outside of this, and I guess wondered if we could renegotiate that
So if
this
you-
time.
Like if there's a group that,
Like for-profit after-school athletic groups that are using the facilities just for free.
so the only way, category 3, so you're saying that group's using it and you think they're mismarked?
Yes.
You say they're marked there, but they should be marked there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you give me any of those groups, then I'll tell you how that, like the rating system and what administrator and all those things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's easy. Thank you.
So are you moving some from category 3?
I think that some need to be in category 3 that have not been.
They're marking it down in a different category, and we should be marking it down.
Yeah, just, so in those specific cases that you'd like, Chris Bruce's Taekwondo.
Chris Bruce.
Using one of our terms, and
Yeah.
you wanna know why they're ranked this instead of that, then
Sure. Okay.
I'll go through it with.
Okay.
Taekwondo.
Yeah.
I did not see that.
I'll make a motion to amend policies 465 and 910.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hillary?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
JD?
Aye.
Aye for me as well.
We have one policy for removal, employing retired administrators. All they did was take this and put it into the employed retired. So now all retired personnel are in one policy.
There you go.
I make a motion, we remove policy 314.
I second.
Perfect. JD?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
Aye for me.
Then there were 8 policies that were new either to us or new completely. 7 of those 8 lived in Jonathan's world. Jonathan reviews the 800s, the adolescent relationship abuse, sexual assault, specific to just abuse and sexual assault. And that was reviewed with social workers, cabinet, and counselors.
I make a motion to adopt the following policies of 0554, 0815, 0819, 0893, 0894, 0894.1, 0894.2, and 0895.
I second.
Any further discussion? JD?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
Aye for me. Perfect. Moving on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
Any further discussion? JD?
Aye.
Kirsty?
Aye.
Freddie?
Aye.
Hillary?
Aye.
Aye for me. Perfect. And for the good of the order, this last weekend was the elementary Lego Expo. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
it
know
was
us or
great,
not.
and Marcus came too. I had a chance to introduce Marcus, but we had, it's gotten so big. It's started at Hubbard, went to Fremont. Last year was packed. We couldn't get everybody in. This year was at Kuna Middle School. There was plenty of room. But I was able, again, like I shared with you, I was able to tell them, the last 3 years, we've received $40,000 from Meta to help pay for all the schools.
It's awesome.
And we need more, and we did get that, $53,000. And so to be able to share that news with them on Saturday morning, the leaders and the kids were all excited, so they get to go forward and keep going. That every school can have 6 teams. Stipends are paid for, their kits are paid for, and so.
That's awesome.
Negotiations, that's you.
Yeah, negotiations meetings are scheduled for April 28th and May 5th. Super fun.
And you'll be attending those? Is that what you're?
That's part of my,
Yeah.
responsibilities, yes.
Good man.
I don't make it to the whole meeting, but I make it to the lunch.
Way to represent.
Snack.
That's what we stand for.
Then we have graduation coming up. Initial Point High School, May 20th at 6 p.m. in the K-PAC. And then KHS, May 21st, 2:30 at the Ford Idaho Center.
And you guys will all get like a ticket to get in and to park in the back. Just you, Freddie especially, but you'll get that and all that. And we'll get you all that.
Okay, perfect. All
I
right,
motion that we adjourn.
I second.
very good. JD,
Aye.
Kirsty,
Aye.
Freddie,
Aye.
Hillary,
Aye.
aye for me. Meeting adjourned. Yeah.